Imagine for a moment that your body feels whole, your mind is calm, and your emotions are balanced. Imagine waking up every day with peace in your heart, clarity in your thoughts, and strength in your body. This isn't just a dream, it's possible. And the key lies in allowing Christ to work in every area of your life. Before we go deeper, let me invite you, if you are watching this, don't just listen passively. Stay until the end, because what you're about to discover could truly change how you see healing, how you experience your inner peace, and how you relate to your own body and emotions. And while you're here, take a second to subscribe, because together, we are building a space of encouragement, restoration, and strength. Healing is not only about the absence of sickness. Healing is about wholeness, restoring every broken part of you into alignment with peace and life. So many people today are walking around with silent pain, physical illnesses they don't speak of, emotional wounds they hide, and mental struggles they try to mask behind a smile. Yet deep down, there's a longing to feel whole again. Christ offers more than religious rituals. He offers transformation. His presence brings renewal to the body, clarity to the mind, and freedom to the emotions. The reason so many feel stuck is because they try to heal only one area, perhaps the body with medicine, or the mind with positive thoughts, yet neglect the deeper harmony that only comes when body, mind, and emotions are touched by divine love. Think about this. The body cannot be at peace if the mind is filled with anxiety. The mind cannot rest if the emotions are carrying bitterness. And the emotions cannot be free if the body is weighed down with sickness. All three are connected. And the beauty of Christ's healing is that it addresses the whole person, not in fragments, but as one complete being. Healing the body through Christ's peace. The body responds to stress, to worry, to hopelessness. Science itself has shown how stress hormones weaken immunity, how constant anxiety triggers illness, and how lack of peace can manifest in real physical pain. But when Christ enters, He brings peace that calms the storm inside. That peace is not just an idea, it translates into healthier rhythms, deeper rest, and a stronger body. When you let go of burdens, when you release control, when you allow His presence to surround you, your body shifts. Healing begins not just with medicine or treatment, but with an atmosphere of peace that allows the body to repair, restore, and strengthen itself. Have you ever noticed how people glow when they're truly joyful? How sickness seems lighter when there's laughter, and how pain eases when hope is alive? This is no coincidence. The presence of Christ awakens life inside you. Healing starts in the invisible, then manifests in the visible, healing the mind. Through Christ's clarity, the mind can be a battlefield. Thoughts race, doubts creep in, and fears magnify every problem. People today struggle with mental exhaustion because their minds are filled with noise, endless comparisons, constant self-criticism, and waves of uncertainty. But when you invite Christ into your mind, something extraordinary happens. He brings clarity. He quiets the chaos. He teaches you to focus not on every anxious what if, but on the peace of it is well. Suddenly, the weight lifts. The confusion clears. The storm subsides. Healing the mind doesn't mean never having a negative thought again. It means learning how to replace fear with courage, confusion with clarity, and doubt with peace. Christ reshapes your mindset, helping you rise above destructive patterns. Healing the emotions through Christ's love. Emotional wounds are often the hardest to see. You can cover them with a smile, but inside, the pain lingers. Betrayal, rejection, loss, disappointment, these carve deep scars in the heart. Left unattended, they become chains that keep you trapped. But here's the truth. Love heals. And not just any love, but the unconditional love Christ offers. His love whispers that you are accepted, valued, and whole, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. His love doesn't erase the past, but it transforms the way you carry it. Instead of chains, you find wings. Instead of bitterness, you discover forgiveness. Instead of emptiness, you experience fullness. When emotions are healed, everything else aligns. You laugh again, you trust again, and you find joy in simple things. That is the power of divine love. It heals what words cannot and restores what time alone cannot. Now pause for a moment and ask yourself, what part of me needs healing the most right now? My body, my mind, my emotions? Healing begins with recognition. Once you acknowledge the brokenness, you open the door for Christ to step in and do what only He can do. And here's a call to action for you. If this message is already speaking to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you care about. Healing multiplies when it is shared. Healing is a journey, not an instant destination. And every journey begins with a single step. The first step in healing with Christ is openness. Many people resist healing, not because they don't want it, but because they've grown used to the pain. They've accepted their suffering as normal. But Christ calls you to something higher. He calls you to wholeness. When you open your heart, you allow light to enter the places that have been dark for too long. That openness doesn't mean you have all the answers, and it doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again. It simply means you are ready to let Christ walk with you, guiding your healing day by day. The connection between spirit, body, and mind. Modern life often separates the physical, mental, and emotional as if they are unrelated. Yet in reality, they are deeply intertwined. Stress in the mind affects the body. Emotional pain disrupts sleep. Physical illness drains the spirit. But when Christ enters, He restores the harmony. He doesn't heal just one area while leaving the rest untouched. He heals holistically. Think of it like a broken instrument. If one string is damaged, the whole song is distorted. But when the instrument is repaired completely, the music flows beautifully again. That's what Christ is. He restores the music of your life. Letting go of burdens. One of the greatest barriers to healing is holding on to burdens. Worries, regrets, anger, guilt, these weigh the body down, cloud the mind, and poison the emotions. It's like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. The longer you hold it, the weaker you become. Christ invites you to lay that burden down, to release what was never meant to be carried alone. Healing begins the moment you stop clinging to the weight and place it into His hands. Imagine what would happen if you stopped replaying that painful memory. Imagine what peace would come if you stopped holding grudges. Imagine how light your steps would feel if you no longer carried guilt about yesterday. That release is the beginning of freedom. The role of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful forms of healing. And yet, it is one of the hardest things to do. Many people hold on to anger because they feel forgiving means excusing what happened. But forgiveness does not erase the wrong. Forgiveness frees you from being chained to it. When Christ helps you forgive, it's like a key unlocking a prison door. You discover that you are the one who is imprisoned, and forgiveness is what sets you free. Unforgiveness poisons the emotions, clouds the mind, and even harms the body. But when you forgive, your heart softens, your thoughts become lighter, and your body feels renewed. Forgiveness is not a weakness, it is a strength. Rest for the weary. Christ often speaks of rest, not just physical sleep, but deep rest for the soul. Many live in constant motion, running from task to task, thought to thought, without ever finding peace. This restlessness drains energy, clouds judgment, and breeds anxiety. But true rest is found in trust. When you trust Christ, you stop trying to control everything. You rest in the assurance that you are held, guided, and loved. And in that rest, healing flows. The body recovers, the mind clears, and the emotions settle. Learning to receive love. Another key to healing is learning to receive love. Many people are good at giving, but not at receiving. They pour out for others, yet resist when love is offered to them. But healing requires that you accept the love Christ has for you. This love is unconditional. It does not depend on your achievements, your past mistakes, or your future promises. It simply exists. When you let that love in, it reshapes how you see yourself. Instead of broken, you see restored. Instead of unworthy, you see valued. Instead of forgotten, you see chosen. Receiving this love fills the empty spaces that pain created. And from that fullness, you begin to live again, not as a wounded survivor, but as a whole being, restored and alive. If you've been listening and something inside you is stirring, don't ignore it. Healing often begins with a decision to no longer live in the shadow of pain, but to step into the light of renewal. Here's what I want you to do. Take a moment after this video to reflect. Write down the one area of your life that feels most broken: body, mind, or emotions. Then ask Christ to enter that place. Speak it out loud if you can. There is power in naming your wounds and inviting healing into them. And while you're here, support this journey of healing by subscribing and sharing this message with someone you know is carrying heavy burdens. Healing multiplies when it's shared. The renewal of hope. Healing thrives in an atmosphere of hope. Without hope, the body weakens, the mind despairs, and the emotions collapse. But hope lifts you up, even before the healing is complete. Hope gives strength to endure and courage to keep moving. Christ brings a hope that is unshakable. It's not based on circumstances or temporary relief. It's a hope that remains even when storms rage. And this hope itself is healing. Because when you believe tomorrow can be better, your body responds with energy, your mind with clarity, and your emotions with joy. Healing is not about erasing the past. It's about transforming it into a story of strength. Every scar becomes a testimony. Every tear becomes a seed of compassion. Every struggle becomes a reminder of resilience. And with Christ, nothing is wasted. Even the broken pieces are used to create something beautiful. That is true healing, not the absence of pain, but the transformation of pain into purpose. Healing is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's in the small changes you hardly notice at first. The nights when you finally sleep without worry. The mornings when you wake up with a little more energy. The conversations where you feel lighter, less burdened. Healing can be a gentle unfolding, like dawn breaking after a long night. Christ works in both the miraculous and the ordinary. Some people experience sudden transformation, while others notice healing over time, day by day, piece by piece. Both are beautiful, both are real. Healing is not about speed. It is about depth. And when Christ is the source, the healing reaches deeper than you could ever imagine. The gift of inner peace. One of the greatest signs of true healing is peace. Not just silence or distraction, but inner peace. The kind of peace that remains even when life is not perfect, even when challenges still surround you. This peace is not the absence of problem. It is the presence of Christ in the middle of them. It's the calm that keeps you grounded when everything else seems uncertain. With peace, the body stops fighting itself, the mind stops racing, and the emotions stop boiling. Have you ever felt that kind of peace? The kind that doesn't make sense to the world, yet feels so real inside. That is the peace of Christ. And it is healing in its purest form. The power of surrender. So often, we fight to control our healing. We try to fix ourselves, forcing solutions, chasing quick answers. But sometimes, the real breakthrough comes when you stop fighting and simply surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing your grip on fear and letting Christ take the lead. It means saying, I don't have all the answers, but I trust you to guide me. In that surrender, healing flows more freely. Because healing is not earned. It is received. Think of a child who falls and hurts themselves. The healing begins not when the child tries to patch themselves up, but when they run into the arms of someone who loves them. That embrace brings comfort, safety, and healing. In the same way, Christ's arms are open waiting for you to rest in them. Overcoming fear. Fear is one of the greatest enemies of healing. Fear paralyzes. Fear whispers lies that you'll never recover, that things will never change, that you are too broken to be whole again. But fear loses its power when faith enters. Faith doesn't deny reality, it simply sees beyond it. It believes in what is possible through Christ, even when circumstances look impossible. When fear says, "You can't," faith replies, "With Christ, I can." When fear says, "It's over," faith whispers, "It's only the beginning." And that shift alone is healing, because a fearful mind weakens the body, while a hopeful mind strengthens it. Healing through relationships. Christ often works through people. Healing is not always a solitary journey. Sometimes it comes through the words of encouragement from a friend, the compassion of a community, or the support of loved ones. Isolation magnifies pain, but connection brings relief. When you allow others to walk with you, you discover you're not alone. The love of Christ often flows through the kindness of others, the smile that reminds you you're seen, the hand that helps you up, the voice that tells you to keep going. Healing multiplies in community. That's why it's important not to hide your struggles. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the doorway to connection. And in connection, healing finds room to grow. The renewal of identity. So much of our pain is tied to identity believing lies about who we are, feeling unworthy, thinking we're not enough. But healing rewrites your identity. Christ reminds you that you are more than your pain, more than your past, more than your struggles. When your mind accepts that truth, your emotions begin to heal and your body follows. Because identity shapes everything. If you see yourself as broken, you will live broken. But if you see yourself as loved, whole, and chosen, you begin to live differently. Christ's healing doesn't just patch wounds, it reshapes how you see yourself. And that changes everything. If this message has been speaking to your heart, don't let it stop here. Healing is not just about listening, it's about acting. Take one step today. Maybe it's forgiving someone. Maybe it's resting instead of overworking. Maybe it's asking for help instead of pretending you're fine. Or maybe it's simply taking a deep breath and saying, "Christ, I invite you into my life." And as you do that, I encourage you share this video with someone who needs hope. You never know whose healing might begin because you chose to share. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to stay connected, because this journey of healing is one we walk together. Transformation from the inside out. Healing with Christ is not just surface change. It's not only about fixing what's broken, it's about transforming from the inside out. It begins in the heart, flows to the mind, and spreads to the body. It's a wholeness that no medicine alone, no therapy alone, no effort alone can bring. This transformation is powerful because it doesn't just heal symptoms, it heals roots. It addresses the very core of who you are, so that every part of you aligns with peace, strength, and love. And when that transformation happens, you don't just heal, you shine. Your life becomes a testimony. Others see the peace in your eyes, the strength in your walk, the joy in your words, and they too are drawn toward healing. Healing often begins with the unseen. Long before the body feels stronger or the emotions feel lighter, something shifts inside. A seed is planted in awareness that life doesn't have to stay the same, that renewal is possible. That awareness itself is a spark of healing. Christ awakens that spark within you. He doesn't just say, "You can heal." He shows you by walking alongside you in the journey. Healing with Christ is not about chasing perfection. It's about progress, about walking step by step into greater wholeness. The rhythm of renewal. Healing is not a one-time event. It is a rhythm. Just as the body renews itself, daily, cells repairing, energy replenishing, healing in Christ is a daily rhythm of choosing peace over worry, love over bitterness, and hope over despair. This rhythm looks simple but powerful. Taking time to pause, to breathe, to reflect, to pray. It's in those quiet moments that your body releases tension, your mind resets, and your emotions find balance. Healing flows not only in dramatic moments, but also in the small, consistent rhythms of grace. When you align with this rhythm, life feels lighter. You no longer carry yesterday's pain into today. You learn to start fresh, again and again, with Christ's presence guiding you. Breaking the chains of the past. One of the hardest parts of healing is letting go of the past. Old wounds, regrets, mistakes, betrayals, they cling tightly, replaying themselves in your mind. You may find yourself asking, how can I move forward when the past still hurts? Christ's healing addresses this by breaking the chains of memory. He doesn't erase the past, but he transforms the way it lives inside you. The painful memory no longer controls you. Instead, it becomes part of your growth. A scar that tells a story, not a wound that bleeds. When the past loses its grip, your mind clears, your emotions soften, and your body feels lighter. This is why many people describe a sense of freedom when they finally let Christ into their past. It's like stepping out of a prison cell into open air. The role of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the simplest, yet most powerful healing practices. It shifts your focus from what is broken to what is still whole, from what is missing to what remains. Gratitude rewires the brain, strengthens the body, and lifts the emotions. Christ's presence amplifies gratitude. When you see life through his lens, you notice blessings you once overlooked, the breath in your lungs, the people who care for you, the strength you still carry, the opportunities to begin again. Gratitude is not denial of pain. It is the decision to see light even in darkness. And that decision itself heals. Because a grateful heart cannot remain heavy, it always finds reason to rise. Here's what I invite you to do right now. Take a moment to name 3 things you are grateful for. Say them out loud if you can. Feel the shift in your body, the lightness in your emotions, the calm in your mind. Gratitude is not just a thought, it's an act of healing. And if this video is bringing clarity and hope to you, support this journey by subscribing and sharing. Someone in your circle may desperately need these words today. You could be the reason their healing begins. Patience in the process. Healing with Christ requires patience. We live in a world of instant results, fast food, quick answers, instant gratification. But deep healing doesn't work that way. It takes time. It unfolds slowly, layer by layer, like the growth off a tree. Christ is not in a hurry with you. He walks patiently, gently, faithfully. And in that patience, you learn to trust the process. Some days will feel like breakthroughs, others like setbacks. But every step counts. Healing is not always linear, but it is always moving forward when Christ is involved. Think of how a wound closes. It doesn't happen in a moment. The body forms new cells, tissue grows, strength returns. In the same way, emotional and mental healing takes time. Trust the slow work of Christ. His timing is not delay, it is perfect preparation. The healing power of compassion. Compassion is a medicine in itself. When you show compassion to others, you also heal yourself. Because compassion softens the heart, releases anger, and creates connection. Christ embodies compassion. He sees pain not as something to avoid, but as something to embrace with love. When you allow his compassion to flow through you, your own wounds feel lighter. By comforting others, you discover that your own heart grows stronger. Many people find that helping others in their pain accelerates their own healing. It reminds them they are not alone, and it transforms suffering into purpose. This is the mystery of compassion. It heals both the giver and the receiver. Healing beyond the individual. Healing in Christ doesn't stop with you. It ripples outward. When your body is healthier, you have more strength to serve. When your mind is clearer, you make wiser choices. When your emotions are balanced, your relationships thrive. This ripple effect transforms families, friendships, and communities. One healed person can spark healing in many others. That's why personal healing is never selfish. It's the beginning of collective restoration. Living as a testimony. Perhaps the most powerful part of healing with Christ is that it turns you into a living testimony. You no longer just talk about healing, you embody it. Your story inspires others. Your peace speaks louder than words. Your joy becomes contagious. People may ask, how are you so calm after all you've been through? How do you still smile after everything that happened? And your answer becomes simple, because Christ healed me. That testimony is not just for you, it is for the world. Healing with Christ turns your pain into a story of hope, your wounds into a message of strength. And that testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to believe that healing is possible for them. 2. Healing is not about reaching a place where nothing ever hurts again. It's about discovering the strength to rise when pain comes, the wisdom to see beyond suffering, and the love to live whole, even in an imperfect world. Christ doesn't promise a life without challenges, but He promises that no challenge will ever defeat you when you walk with Him. At the core of every human being is a longing to feel whole. We seek it in medicine, in success, in relationships, in distractions. Yet true wholeness comes from Christ, because He heals the deepest parts of us, places no medicine can reach. No achievement can satisfy, no human love can fully complete. Living in daily renewal. Healing is not just for one season of life. It is a daily renewal. Every morning you wake up, Christ offers fresh peace for your mind, fresh strength for your body, and fresh joy for your emotions. Healing is not a destination you finally arrive at, it is a path you walk every day with Him when you see life. This way, you stop waiting for a perfect day to feel whole. You realize wholeness is available here and now, in small choices, in quiet prayers, in moments of surrender. Healing becomes a lifestyle, not an event, turning pain into purpose. One of the most beautiful outcomes of healing in Christ is that your pain becomes your purpose. What once felt like a curse becomes a platform to help others. Your story becomes someone else's survival guide. Your scars become proof that healing is possible. When you heal, you don't only rise for yourself. You rise for those who will come after you. Every lesson you've learned, every tear you've cried, every battle you've fought, it all becomes fuel to lift others. That is how Christ transforms not just individuals, but entire generations. The freedom of wholeness. Imagine walking without fear of the past, without anxiety about the future, without bitterness in your heart. Imagine waking each day with peace in your body, clarity in your mind, and joy in your emotions. That is the freedom of wholeness, and that freedom is possible, not because life is perfect, but because Christ makes you whole in the middle of imperfection. Healing with Him is not escape from reality, it is strength to face reality with grace. If this message has touched you, don't let it fade. Healing begins with a choice, and that choice can be made right now. Take one step today. Invite Christ into your body, mind, and emotions. Speak it out. Christ, I need your healing. I open my life to you. That single act of surrender can change everything. And before you go, make sure you subscribe to stay connected on this journey. Share this video with someone who needs healing, because the words that healed you might heal them too. And leave a comment below about what part of this message spoke to you most. Your words could inspire someone else to take their first step toward wholeness. Closing reflection. Healing is a journey, and you are not walking it alone. With Christ, every wound can become wisdom, every tear can become strength, and every scar can shine with hope. You don't have to wait for tomorrow to begin healing. You don't have to wait for life to be perfect. Healing is available now. Wholeness is available now. Christ is here now. So breathe, release, trust, and step into the peace you were created for. Your healing has already begun. Healing is not just about what Christ does for you, it is also about what He does through you. When you begin to experience healing, you start to carry a presence that influences everyone around you. Your body radiates calm, your words carry life, and your spirit becomes a source of peace for others. This is one of the mysteries of healing. It multiplies. Just as pain spreads through anger, resentment, and bitterness, healing spreads too. A healed heart brings comfort, a healed mind brings wisdom, and a healed body brings strength. The more you allow Christ to heal you, the more you become an instrument of healing for the world, walking as a vessel of healing. When Christ heals, your emotions, your forgiveness toward others becomes a light in their darkness. When He heals your mind, your clarity helps guide others through confusion. When He heals your body, your strength becomes a gift you share. This doesn't mean you suddenly become a perfect person. It means you become a living testimony. People see your resilience, your peace, your joy, and they begin to ask questions. They wonder, what changed? How did you overcome? How do you carry such calmness? And your answer is simple: because Christ is with me. Healing in this way is not private, it's contagious. Your wholeness becomes a ripple that moves outward. Living in harmony, Christ's healing creates harmony within you and around you. When your mind is peaceful, you speak with gentleness. When your emotions are healed, you respond with patience. When your body is restored, you have energy to serve others. Harmony is not about the absence of problems. It is about the presence of balance. Life may still bring storms, but you remain steady because Christ's healing has grounded you. This harmony then flows into your relationships. Families become stronger. Friendships become deeper. Workplaces become more compassionate. Healing is never just about one person. It's about creating spaces of peace wherever you go, rediscovering joy. One of the clearest signs of healing is the return of joy. Pain steals joy. Bitterness silences laughter. Anxiety dims the light of everyday moments. But when Christ restores you, joy comes back. It may begin small, smiling at little things, finding peace in silence, laughing with someone you love. Soon, that joy expands. It becomes your new strength. Joy is healing because it lifts the spirit, energizes the body, and clears the mind. Christ doesn't just want you to survive. He wants you to live with joy. He wants you to wake up eager for the day, to find beauty in the ordinary, to see hope even in difficulty. That joy is part of His gift of wholeness. Choosing love over fear. At the root of much suffering is fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of pain, fear of the unknown. Fear shrinks life, narrows choices, and paralyzes healing. But Christ's love casts out fear. When you embrace His love, you realize you are safe, valued, and secure. Fear loses its grip because love tells you, you are not alone. You are enough. You are protected. Choosing love over fear is one of the most powerful acts of healing. It means you no longer live in defense mode. You no longer carry suspicion or anger as your shield. Instead, you move with openness, compassion, and courage. And with every act of love, your healing deepens. Here's your next step. Think of one person in your life who needs encouragement, peace, or love. It could be a friend, a family member, or even yourself. Take a moment today to share a word of kindness, a gesture of compassion, or even this very message. Healing grows stronger when it is given away. Don't keep your light hidden. Share it. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe and comment below about what part of this message has spoken to you most. Your words may be the spark someone else desperately needs. The new beginning. Healing with Christ always leads to new beginnings. It doesn't erase the old chapters of your life. It writes new ones filled with peace, strength, and purpose. You no longer live defined by your wounds, but by your restoration. Every Day becomes a new page. Every breath becomes a chance to live lighter, freer, stronger. And every step you take becomes a testimony that Christ still heals, still restores, still makes all things new.